Today in my group, or in one of my workshops, I was asking the kids what they wanted to be when they grow up, and a lot of times kids kind of didn't have very distinguished goals or any real ambition towards something. Like they'd often say an answer, but didn't. They just kind of picked like a default, sort of like teacher and nurse. Like in some cases is honest ambition for them to be that, but in a lot of cases they just kind of said what the other three people said before them, sort of thing. And so I think just the fact that they don't know their options or know their capabilities, I think it's sort of really damaging to who they are, and they lack a sense of identity because of it.
There's this one girl that is in our camp, and she's kind of follows some of the guys around just a bit more than the others, and we kind of didn't know why. But then we had someone else go talk to her, and it turns out she doesn't have a dad, and her only older brother actually died, and then all her older siblings are gone and stuff, so she's just alone and doesn't have any male influence really. So it's stuff like that you can't tell just by looking, but it's pretty significant.
So yesterday when we went to the Children's Welfare Society of Kenya, we saw all these little kids and they were playing games, and we were talking to Patrick, and he started telling us about some of the stories that are there, and one of them is about this incest problem that they're having here, and it's like a very shameful thing here, and when that happens, the mothers will have the babies and take them home, and they'll starve them for 2 days, and then on the third day they'll buy a sheep and take the sheep's blood and feed it to the baby, and it'll end up suffocating the baby, and it's their way of like cleansing the house of this incest that's happened, and it's like traumatic. And you know, so at the Children's Welfare Society of Kenya, they go in from the hospitals and they rescue those babies that they know are from that kind of family, and they take in these kids, and you know, it's a problem here, and it's hard.
There's the issue of they don't have enough money, and they don't have enough money to you know, like get buildings so they can, you know, build a school, and they don't have enough money to you know, for projects, and they also don't have enough money to get basic stuff like food. I've also seen like just people rationing food, and like look out here, people rely on their crops, and when they don't have, when the crops fail or there's drought or whatever, then it gets pretty bad. So I've seen, you know, the effects of that.
One time, after one of our workshops that we were doing, me and Luke came back in, and each kid got a book, and they could write down whatever they wanted. And I saw a couple that were just laying open on the ground, and some like wrote down the Bible verses and stuff like that. But this one book that we found when we came back in, that was open on the ground, it said, "I am so lonely, and I don't know how to not be lonely anymore. How can I not be lonely anymore?" And it was almost like, and it was like in a question format, and it was just lying there. And I mean, like, and then when you look at the kids, it didn't, like, none of the kids really stood out as like, you know, lonely. They just all seemed so happy and like regular, just normal, worryless kids. But you know, deep down, you don't really know what's necessarily going on.
If you went to go to visit a village called Boss Tom, we went out, it's about an hour and a half from the city, and we went to stay there for 4 days, and it was a great opportunity to be able to understand some of the difficulties they face. Having that sort of that dryness in your mouth, not having had enough water, and sort of living in that place, sort of with the smell, with sort of little water, just everything just on such a basic level, living in a place that could have been around about 500 years ago, we believe probably wouldn't look much different other than the plastic. I think just being in that place really has just changed me from inside, just unseeing those things and just those hard truths, and that is something that I will take home with me.